Hey, everybody! Hello!
Hi!
Welcome to Who's
You said
Closing?
2:30.
Yeah, but I started at 30 seconds in, and so
that
2
is
minutes.
true.
My apologies for that,
Um,
that pull trigger intro there. But hello, we are Who's Closing, a working class podcast. I am your host, Boshti, joined always by the lovely Renlikesmoons. And today we are talking about the ever appropriate what your approach to pooping at work says about your workplace culture. And guess what, everybody? You get to take a drink because I said culture in the intro. Oh my goodness!
yeah.
Surprise listener and first time listener, longtime fan, Captain Pennsylvania is in the chat. What's
Oh
good,
my
fam?
gosh, seriously, wait, where am I missing this?
He is
Oh,
there on YouTube. What is good, fam? Happy to hear you.
I feel
So,
honored.
I too. I hope you all are enjoying your lovely Sunday. We usually stream like on Saturdays, but I had migraines and was basically bedridden for 3 days. So, too long, don't read. We had to delay things a couple days and like rearrange some more things. So, but we're here. We're here live for the first time. We usually don't do this live, but we're experimenting. So, ooh. And don't forget, join our Patreon. Link is in the ticker. That's just kind of scrolling on past ya. All proceeds from our Patreon this month will be going to Rain and additional, I think it's the suicide hotline as well. So please, please, please join so we can donate that sweet, sweet money so people can feel good about themselves. And as some of you know, if you checked out the last episode, it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So that is why we chose the organizations that we did. Information in the description below. We have lots of links down there. Click them all. Google loves that. So, these intros are killer, man. All right.
I think you do a great job. I mean, you do it so fluidly.
I do what I can. I'm used to having to compete for basically opportunities to speak in meetings, and as you guys know, meetings give me big anxiety. So I'm just like rehearsing the full thing like a week ahead. So let me see. Got some more responses in the oh man, it's annoying. Let me see here. All right, so show notes. I'm trying to stay on track.
Okay.
I may or may not have already started drinking my kombucha, which makes me effervescent. That's the word that we'll go with today.
That's really, wait, what did you say? What did you say?
Effervescent, like bubbly and, like almost like carbonated,
This is the first time I've heard that word.
Ooh.
Is that like a really special, like fancy word? I'm gonna sound so like uncultured, I feel like, if I have no idea what that means.
No. Oh, hey Timmy, hello. Welcome to
Hello.
our lovely podcast. Yeah, so just to give you guys kind of like the rundown of how everything works here. So essentially we are like a pop culture slash I don't know, like would you say like a gig economy like working nightmares podcast? It's like kind of like
I think that's a good description. I also like to say I was thinking about it as you were saying that. I feel like chaotic neutral if we were just comparing this to, alignments. Quite a chaotic neutral sort of podcast.
it's
Maybe more like, yeah, chaotic, but in a good way.
yeah, I would just say that it's essentially 2 hours of us waxing poetic and,
Mhm.
spouting anecdotes about, the gig economy and basically trying to make all the like big crazy things that happen in the news kind of make more sense and like break it down
Try to
to
make sense of it. Yeah.
yeah, just bring it to a level that is like a little bit more relatable. So I hope that we can do
Mhm.
that and basically be a guide for you as you navigate the news. So without further ado, um, we're gonna talk about going poopy. Not in your pants, just at work, and basically
General.
some hints at culture because that seems to be a pretty popular thing in the news right now as
Mhm.
far as
Mhm.
regards to workers' rights with Amazon. So we're going to kind of have some fun talking about poop habits at work and basically what kind of pooper are you?
I mean, Captain Pennsylvania is currently listening at work, so
Oh, perfect.
I
So,
mean, yeah, it's
he's
quite relatable then. There, we can
he's
talk about it.
obviously listening for tips on how to time manage, because I believe that we are going to learn the habits of successful poopers, not people who are like regular poopers, but people who are successful and poop. Because
Mhm.
there is some mythology out there that like the most powerful people don't poop, and that is how they themselves are within proximity of like deity status is because they don't have a butthole. So allegedly, as the story goes.
Mhm.
So we're definitely going to talk
Who
about
are you
that.
specifically talking about? Because I can name one right now.
I think you know exactly who I'm talking
Okay.
about. He uh, he might be a supreme leader in a
Oh, I think we're delayed.
uh-oh.
Okay,
Sorry
all right.
everybody. Oh, and
There's
we're
a little bit of a delay, Boshti. So,
oh sorry guys, you will
oh, a
have to
supreme leader.
deal
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll have to deal with a delay. Our apologies. New
Mhm.
new software. We're
5 seconds.
still oh, it's a 5 second delay. My goodness. It was only 3 seconds last week, so I will have to keep that
Yeah.
in mind. But all right, so
Mhm.
we do have a quiz. Because BuzzFeed is such a reliable source. They're just finger on the pulse. So we're gonna let you guys go ahead and take this lovely quiz with us here. So you too can find out what kind of pooper you are.
I haven't
Sorry.
taken it yet. I thought I'd do it on stream, just so everyone could know straight up.
Perfect.
Look me straight in the eye.
The old brown eye.
Nice one. Oh, I'm gonna get quite embarrassed quite easily. Like, the funny thing is, I'm quite like a potty mouth. So you're like, ah. But it seems like I'm also sometimes just quite shy, so I might be like, ha 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 ha. But we'll get there.
No, I understand. I was raised to believe that pooping was a sin. That is your shame leaving your body. So it's fine. We're all beginners here. Don't worry about it.
That's normal. That's
Yeah.
normal. Yeah.
Totally normal. Totally fine. Just normal Catholic upbringing, so it's fine.
Mm.
So yes, it's not everybody poops. It's nobody poops but you. So shame. Just kidding, guys. That's a really good
How are
John Oliver
you?
quote.
So
So
how are we gonna do this quiz, Vashti? Were you thinking about pulling it up
yeah, I
and
was
sharing it
gonna.
on the screen so we could do it together?
I believe I was going to do the good old screen share here.
Lovely, lovely jubbly.
So let me just make sure. Here we are. There's 6 kind of poopers. I feel like there are quite a bit more than that, but who am I? Who am I? All
Who am I to
right.
define the types themselves?
Yes, who am I to set limitations on the range of representation of poopers? That's just yuck.
Choose some toilet paper. This is a great question.
Okay. All
Hmm.
right, gang. So here we are. And I'm going to tell you guys a really funny story about something that happened to me at work this week. That isn't poop related, but it is like fart adjacent related. So, I digress. I don't want to, ruin. Hey, let me pick what kind of. Ooh, so I'm going to pick that
I
there.
don't see a bidet on here.
I do not. Oh, you know what? I see a Toto toilet though, so I'm gonna just assume
These are the best toilets.
that it's the best toilet, so I'm gonna go with that one. Okay, so guys, let me tell you this hilarious story that happened at work. So I Trinity! Yes! I'm so excited. Okay, so let me tell you this hilarious story. So I'm not going to tell you guys where it happened, but it's so great. So I'm in my HR office, right? Oh, I have a poop quiz to keep doing. Um,
Yeah.
my apologies. Multitasking. I'm trying. So
Wait, here. Would you like to discuss the poop quiz first and then tell the story?
no, we're
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 gonna
just living our best
multitask.
lives. We're
We're
living our
living our
best
best
lives. We're here to
lives.
deliver. So I'm in the HR department, because I need to like pick up some documents that I printed out and like basically, upgrade people on, an email campaign that we're doing. And basically we got on the talk about what we do on our lunch breaks. And basically, so there's 2 HR ladies. There's this one lady, bless her heart, she like totally has like a like tricked out like SUV that's like all like Grateful Dead
That's
themed.
great.
So that should set a tone for all of you. So and then we have like our more like conservative, HR lady. And so the deadhead fan like HR lady, she's like, "Oh, do you want to see like what we do on our lunch breaks, like because we don't know like how to spend the full hour either." And so like she's digging in her purse and I'm thinking like, she's like they go and like shop for like expensive pastry because we're in like a nicer part of town,
Mhm.
like. And I'm like, what, you go like shopping on your lunch, you went and bought a new bag, like what? No, nope. This lady goes and she bought like a whole zip, and those who are within the industry know what I am referring to when I say a zip, and a ton of um, edible candy, and just lots of sweet things that make you feel a certain way about yourself. And just and there's just terpenes just filling the whole office. Again, industry terminology, those who, if you know, you know. And so yeah, it's really smelly in our HR office. And everybody is freaking out. So the lady that is not the Grateful Dead fan, she has no idea what's going on. She has headphones on, so she can't like understand, but she recognizes the smell.
Mhm.
And so she starts freaking out. She's like, "Oh my god, why is that smell in here?" And the Grateful Dead lady is like, "Oh my goodness, this is really smelly. This is really stinky." And I am freaking out because I'm trapped in a very tiny office with them with this stink. And I'm
Mhm.
like, and I'm freaking out. So and like my boss is looking over at me, like the, lead of like, we'll call it quality assurance. Like he's staring like, daggers at me, like from his office. So I'm just like, I farted. Everybody, I am so sorry. I farted and now it stinks in the HR office and I don't know what to do. It's
So
so
I'm curious, Boshti. Like what normal person like like regarding flatulence like smells like that special good stuff like I like how that is the direction that you took it rather than like maybe just like, oh yeah, this is like actually there's a beer here. It's like a French beer and you open it, it's called Desperados and it just absolutely smells. You could have been like, yeah, it's I mean a beer wouldn't have made sense. But you chose to use flatulence as a cover up for the smelly things that smell. In the words of what is it, SpongeBob, the smelly smells, the smelly
Yeah,
but
so
yeah.
um so okay, because it was basically a very cheesy smell, and I was
Mm-hmm.
already in there for Tums. Like I
Mm-hmm.
thought that I
Oh,
had food poisoning because I was getting ready. I was in like a migraine aura, so I was just like literally like sorry TMI guys, but like I was literally like throwing up in like a 2 gallon water bottle like underneath my desk. Like I was sick as a dog and I was just like, can you please, like I have a 2 hour meeting that like closing with our boss. Can I please just have a Tums? And so basically like they were just making fun of me at just being a hermit and like listening to like Eartha Kitt and like really weird like music on my lunch break, and they were just like, this is what we do. And so I don't know why that was where I went. Like
no,
I
fair.
could
You
have went.
panic and you're just like, this is it. This is my shame.
Well, it's
I'm
like
taking it.
the thing that killed me was like I literally was prepping for a meeting with my boss, and like
Yeah.
my boss like kicked me out like of his office. He's like, don't you crop dust and bring like he basically like he's like, don't you bring that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Like he shamed me like out of the office. And basically the quality assurance guy just like politely but
Quality
like
assurance.
very pettily gets up and closes his door as I like walk by. Like, dude, it was next level. And so meanwhile, like they're like lysoling and like Febrezing as much as they can, in the HR office, and I am just like like I totally just like landed chest first on this grenade, but like it's fine, because I do it for the community.
Yeah.
I do it for the
Yeah.
culture. So it's like, so I farted. I am the crop duster in my
So
office.
you're the crop duster.
I'm that girl. So, just pour some out for me because, yeah, my reputation is over.
That's like
Um,
a decent reputation to have, I suppose. Like out of all the reputations you could have, like why not crop dusting? The
um,
silent, look
uh,
at no, you got the silent pooper. That like is
I
equivalent to
did.
the silent but deadly. So
Yes,
like there you go. It's perfect. I'm quite impressed that you were discussing that while taking the quiz. And I'm gonna be honest, like I have no idea what answers you like chose to this quiz. And now I'm curious as to what the questions are. Um,
I am impressed. Drop a I don't know. Is there an Elmo? If you guys are on mobile, drop an Elmo like emoji like in the chat, or just like write silent SBD. Just like drop SBDs in the chat if you too also got the silent pooper. I can also put the link in the chat again if you too would like to determine your
mm,
poop personality type. So there we
yeah.
go. Trigger pulled on that. So I'm very proud. We're gonna watch Elmo dance on like his short person toilet and
Short person toilet. No toddlers. I so Actually, that is a good segue into one of my horror stories. It is and it isn't. It is because it reminds me, because I used to be a preschool teacher as well, and like they're literally short toilets, like just like
mhm.
baby toilets. And I was constantly always afraid that I would accidentally use like the children's toilet instead of using like the teacher's toilet, and like the children's toilet has like windows on them as well. You're not like supposed to leave the children alone. But like you're never supposed to have the door closed either, but they have windows on it anyways. But my horror stories come from the service industry because, like, I know you're legally meant to have breaks when you're bartending and you're
Yes.
waitressing and doing all that and you're cooking. But, like, let's be real here. Like, how many people in the service industry actually get breaks? They literally only get breaks if they have to take a shit or, like, if they get a smoke. Like, I think like cheers to being a smoker in the service industry because for some reason that's like an excuse to get a break.
No,
So
I'm
my
actually glad you bring that up because I
mm,
do want to talk about like the like the smoking culture of like the
yeah,
service industry, but that's later in like the second half of the
later.
podcast.
Okay.
So, but we'll come back to that, gang. We'll come
Yeah.
back.
So basically my whole work culture in terms of cooking was like that was just my ultimate piece because I work in a I I don't want to get too specific because people can easily find my work that I worked in and like I loved the restaurant that I worked for. Like it was great. It was great. So like no shame to them. It's just the reality of, I guess the situation. But in the summer, the town that I was living in at the time is a tourist destination because it's like right on the water. Absolutely gorgeous,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, lovely. And we get busy. So it's like 14, 16-hour shifts. Like it's crazy. It's ridiculous. And you don't get a break, but you do get to take poops. And those are just like, they're like heaven. They're just the most like, because we would like sneak upstairs to use like the special ones that were secret. So like none of the customers get to use it. These are like specifically for like the office workers because it was connected to this like old ancient building that's like historical, whatever. Um, and like sometimes I would eat something funky that I was supposed to like not supposed to eat, whether like if I'm like munching while working, because that's also a thing. And then, I literally get the shits because I something that had gluten in it, and I'd be like, yeah, fun times. But but the peak, the peak of
Don't
my
forget to like
experience,
and subscribe if you're a real
I,
one.
the peak of my experience and like the ultimate, and it's like it's not my story to tell. Well, it is my personal story to tell, but it's not me who did the sin. So it's been a 14-hour 16-hour shift and I had to open the next morning, and that's also another thing. It's like you arrive home at 3 a.m., roll into bed, and then you're like sleep for 5 hours, and then you roll out of bed and you're like, okay, let's open. um, so I arrive one of the first there, the cook arrives. The cook has to go to the back. And the back, it's like through this hallway because this is a shared building, and we have a storage room. And the storage room is through another miniature hallway, which isn't usually locked, but the storage room is. So he's going back to the storage room to get supplies. And like 2 minutes later, he comes back and he's just shouting. He's like, what the like what the actual fuck? And I'm panicking. I'm like, what could it possibly be? Like what could this possibly be? And he's like, humans are so nasty. It's so disgusting. And I'm like panicking.
Facts.
I'm like, it's 10 a.m. I am like, what? I'm not mentally prepared, but I'm like, why are you being so dramatic? Just tell me. It takes him about a minute to like actually say it. And he's like, just take a trip. Just take a trip. Sorry, it's just still fresh in my mind and it's been a year. He's like, take a trip to the storage room. I'm like, okay. So I do. I stop chopping up my pineapples and it's 10 a.m. I walk back there and I don't see anything. So I go like past. I don't smell anything either. So I'm a bit concerned about that one. But I go into like our actual storage area because I still need to like grab like liquor and stuff, bring it back. I'm holding like 10 bottles in my arms. And that's on the way out when I see it. In the corner, like right where the door is. Just
Oh no, 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 no.
so exploded. Like, I don't know how it's physically possible, Boshti. They literally, it's like as if their ass was against the wall. It just was all over this wall. And it was like hanging down. And the worst bit was, is like somebody's boxers were there. So like someone, like it must have been, the thing is it must have been like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. the previous night. Like someone just didn't make it to the bathroom. Like I don't know. Because we also shared this building with guests. Like it could have been a coworker. It could have been a guest. Like I don't know. And I'm like, not trying to think about it too much. But I do have a picture of it, and I'm thinking like maybe that should go on the Patreon because it's nasty. Like it's honestly such a shameful like picture. To look at. And I go back and like as each of our like coworkers came in, I'm like, we're telling this, we don't even just go to the back room, just go to the back room. And it's like the same response each time. And then when our owner comes in, we all look at him and we're like, go to the back room. We're like, we're not cleaning it up. So our owner got stuck cleaning shit off the wall. And I just like think like if it was my coworker, like I want to say, like that really sucks because it gets really busy in the summer that like sometimes you don't have a bathroom to go to. So like if it was, like 2 a.m., whatever, it's like they literally didn't have anywhere to go. If it was a customer, like fuck the customer. Like, why are you shitting back there? But that was my story, Bosh.
So I will say that an establishment's policy for how they treat like other people, like, you know what I'm saying, like patron poop culture is also like a telltale sign of like the type of place that you work at. So I actually have like two stories that are actually like really sad. Well, one's really sad and like one's kind of hilarious, but still work related because it was with my coworkers. So my boss, that I was a mixologist for like a really long time ago.
Mixologist, I like that.
Well, I mean, because I was basically trying to qualify for like guild and like union like representation. So
Yeah.
it's like when you're like that level of bartender, you're not just setting mixers on fire, folks. Like you're basically you're an alchemist. So
yeah.
But basically, this old it was very cold, and she usually had like a really weird like bathroom policy. Like if she noticed that like a patron had been in there for like more than 5 minutes, like she was a mess. Like she would make you knock. Like she like super like, yeah, like all gas no brakes. She's just like, we have two bathrooms and we also need these bathrooms, so you better knock if it's been more than 5 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god. So yeah, like I think we called it like bathroom bouncing.
Bathroom bouncing.
And so this older gentleman who was homeless like came in and basically like he took a whole ass bath like in that bathroom. And
Yeah.
I felt I was really conflicted because it's February, like it's the Midwest, it's notorious for ice storms. Like
I get you.
yeah, I'm not gonna force him out. Like there's no like,
Yeah.
and so basically I'm like negotiating with the kitchen. I'm just like, what's the cheapest, like most cost effective thing we can feed him? You know, like whatever. And I mean, like, y'all, he blew that bathroom out. It was so
Oh,
like, it was so bad. But like it was cool, you know, because I was just like, my boss got like really really angry because she thought that it was just like, you know, some like early, you know, like somebody who'd been out partying like all night and basically was in there like first thing in the morning. And I just blew that bitch out. And so I was like, no, like you can't get mad. Like it was, you know, someone off the street, like it, you know, like
yeah.
I'm not gonna like put them out. And so just seeing her like go through like the like 5 alarm fire of just like rage, because it's like
Yeah.
she couldn't like force me to clean it because it was basically her policy.
Yeah.
But oh my god, I had never seen like compartmentalized rage like that, like ever in my life. She was seriously struggling for that, like that gold star. She's like, I'm not gonna freak out, but I really want to freak out. And so there was that, and then basically I got asked to do the Lord's work again, and
Sorry.
I was forced to well, I wasn't forced.
Mm.
I was convinced rather aggressively by my coworkers to hold a after party for someone's 21st birthday. She basically worked like 9 days straight, close
Yeah.
to opens. Like it was her 21st, so we
Hmm.
may or may not have borrowed a keg and threw a rager at this apartment. And so the birthday girl fell asleep on the toilet. She got too drunky, and basically we had to get really creative about making use of the toilet. She never
Hmm.
moved. She was never moved from the toilet because like all of her like her underwear were down, and like all the stuff. So we were just
Hmm.
like, we're gonna just leave you here as like a
Hmm.
monument to how successful of a rager we obviously threw, and we'll hope that in the several passes, because our keg was in the bathtub of said bathroom. So we're just gonna really hope that we don't get like any like cross contamination here, and that as we're in and out, you will also wake up and realize, oh my goodness, I fell asleep on a toilet. I need to go back out there and drink more. So but that never came. Alas, we basically had to barter with beer to get
Yeah.
our upstairs neighbors to let us use their bathroom, because again, we were just gonna leave that girl in there. But fun part, about like somewhere in all of this madness of us not being able to use the bathroom, she had used the bathroom in her passed out state and had, dropped a deuce in the toilet and basically woke up to herself pooping on the toilet. And so she basically was crying because
Oh
she
God.
thought that she was, pooping in a place that she wasn't supposed to, and then was wildly disoriented because she didn't understand how she'd fallen asleep on a toilet and didn't know how she'd gotten.
That's like when dogs wake themselves up because they like farted or something. Oh gosh, that's oh goodness. So
um
I'm just reading back the comments. Everyday Geek says that he got too shy. I'm not sure if you got like a shy pooper or if you're saying that you got too shy to like
no, he got
tell
shy
us what
about
kind.
telling us about what kind of pooper he
I
is, but
mean,
it's
we're being
cool.
really open. Well, I suppose, I mean, we're kind of being open about, I mean, we haven't really gotten too personal, I suppose. Maybe we're just like being really like quite forward asking everybody what they're
Yeah, sorry, but I mean,
yeah.
but if it's any consolation, we don't kink shame here. Oh, pop can, guys. So
Hey.
if you want to tell us what kind of pooper you are, we're not gonna make
Um,
fun of you for it. We're gonna celebrate it as
so my best experiences, if this helps, my best experiences in terms of like work culture and pooping would be working in Japan. Um, because of literally the bidets. They're so fancy. Their toilets are so fancy. Like it's when I was like looking at the first question with toilet paper. Like you just get super clean, because you have your toilet paper and then you have your water and then like they have like a dryer as well attached to the toilet and then they have like
mm,
a perfumey smell as well. Like they're just like magical toilets that do everything and leave. Like you get to go out of the bathroom just feeling so like
I
sneaky as
feel
if nothing happened.
weird about warm air on my yams. Like, that makes me feel like
Someone's actually
really
just sitting in the
strange.
toilet, like blowing air at you.
No. No.
No, I am all for, like, I seriously think if like the Western world could get like caught up on bidets. Well, I don't know about, I think Europe, like, I don't know. I actually don't know what bidets are like in, I know bidets exist in France, but I like Japanese bidets, so I'm not sure. I know bidets exist, but they're different. Like, actually in Japan, how it works is like the toilet senses you sitting down on the toilet, which means that like a little machine sorry, I keep laughing. A little machine comes out, like you can hear it and it's like tick, 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 and then it just like starts shooting water at you.
Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah.
so I had to okay. I don't want to say that I had to do a lot of research, but I may have consumed some substances
Mm.
um that led me down a rabbit hole of research for this episode, and
Mm.
it talked about public bathroom nightmares. And
Ooh.
oh my goodness, I didn't realize that Reddit had so many threads dedicated, to public bathroom emergencies. It was hilarious. So, if you guys want, I'll be throwing up in
Let's do
the.
it. I chose not to read them because I wanted to get genuine, like, well, that and they were a bit too blurry in the document. So
Oh yeah, I know. I was gonna
yeah.
say I'm gonna throw them up
Mm.
in our account, like our Instagram stories. So if you guys would like to read some of the best that I was
Yeah,
able to find,
absolutely.
just check out our Instagram at Fueled by Pop, or you can follow me or well, I was gonna say at Instagram at Hi Boshi. Hello.
I still haven't changed my Instagrams. I don't really know what I'm doing with my usernames. Like Osakaran is like not really irrelevant to me right now, but that's just been my like username for so long. I do like Renlikesmoons a lot, but we'll see how I feel like I can't. I feel like because we're still connected to a circle on YouTube that if I suddenly just like change my username to Renlikesmoons, people are gonna be like, what?
No, you guys, hey, chat, like, why don't we just do like a quick poll? Do you prefer Osaka Ron or Renlikesmoons? And however many people respond is basically the crowd has spoken. So,
Okay, you know what? Like, I just, yeah, Renlikesmoons was one of those things when I was like a super moody, angsty teenager where I'm like, what am I gonna do? I can't do like Lauren XXOX underscore, like all of that stuff. So I'm like, I'm just gonna be really literal. Like, I like moons because I really do. Like, I love moons. Sorry, I feel like I have something in my throat.
ow.
Uh,
Just
so
kidding.
I was like, yeah, Renlikesmoons, that's great, works. But Osakaran is just like hard to say, and it's so irrelevant to like what I do now. Yeah.
And we've been explaining
No
it
one, yeah,
forever.
like no one can pronounce like my name so it ends up being like Osaka Ran, but it's so difficult to pronounce because the Japanese R's are like different. So it's Ran, like it's
Hmm.
like a mixture of an LD and like R. So like at the end of the day, it just doesn't make sense to like my. I feel bad for my audience, and it says yeah. So I'll just change it.
Everyday Geeks says Everyday Geeks wasn't our original name, so don't be afraid to switch it up.
Aww.
Trinity says, whatever you feel suits you. So live your truth. So there you go. So we got some responses, and I had a belch, which is like a toot from your mouth. Just kidding.
What?
Segue. It's like a toot from your mouth.
What?
What?
I'm so confused. Um, I like your guys' response. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you
I'm,
for
I'm
that.
just like super, I think I'm being over dramatic about it. They're both really a part of who I am as a human. They're just very two separate identities, in a sense, I suppose. If you really
True.
want like the angsty me, we'll get back to Renlikesmoons.
I mean, we're
Super
we're
angsty.
we're angsty, maybe. I don't know. We're
I'm like,
millennials.
y'all can check out my Tumblr.
Oh Jesus.
I shouldn't have announced that. I really shouldn't have. Oh God.
Too late. Well, all right. We can just review it next episode. We can
Oh
just.
God. You know what? Like all.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. No.
No. No. We're good. We're good. We're
We're
good.
good.
We're good.
All right, guys. So I am going to basically like pivot, but we're gonna take like a short
Yeah.
break, just to kind of prepare for like the second half of the show. Essentially, we're gonna kind of talk about like more about like what exactly is going on in
Mm.
Bessemer, Alabama. What the polling looked like for the vote that took place for them to unionize. The overall workplace conditions, some of the research that has gone into. Um, oh, Trinity, awesome to see you, friend.
Yeah. Thank you so
Join us
much.
again. We'll see
Yeah.
you again soon. But essentially, yeah. So we're gonna kind of just dive into that, talk about how basically their approach to pooping at work, which is like in bags, bottles, corners, not the best approach. That doesn't say like good things about the overall environment, and basically what led up to the results that did occur in Alabama. So just stay tuned. We'll be back in
Mm.
like 2 or 3 minutes, and yeah, and then we'll just
Also,
jump right in.
yeah, bottles. Well, yeah, that's why you gotta hang in there. That's why you gotta hang in there because we're gonna talk about some
Yeah,
bottles.
we're gonna
Yeah,
talk all about it.
bottles. Sorry, I should have like the actual physics of it, really. And then Reefer Man reviews music. Oh, so high. Hang in there. We'll be back.
Yay! We're going to talk about that too. You missed such a good story, but maybe I'll tell it again. But be right back, guys. All right, and we're back. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, uh oh. Smooth. We're gonna.
I
These transitions are
literally
gonna smooth out, guys.
don't know how long that timer is.
We'll
So I'm
figure it
sitting
out.
there on my phone, just super casual.
No worries, guys. All right, so basically where we left off is we were talking about like pro poop work cultures that basically understand that there are just certain things that are natural bodily functions that have to occur. Oh no, are you frozen? Oh no. Oh my goodness, I have to take a screen grab of this face
Y'all
that you're
got
making though. It's
me.
hilarious. But anyway, so long story short, we were talking about pro poop culture in the sense that it's just like recognizing, giving enough time for breaks, giving enough time, and like recognizing that workers, no matter where on the scale as far as like economic hierarchy, that they deserve basic dignity, and that essentially um, being forced and having it, or essentially coerced, and we touched on coercion in our previous episode, trigger warning for heavier subjects.
No,
But essentially, yeah, so it's we're trying to basically define the line of like micromanagement, to increase productivity, and basically setting up like a culture to base that basically promotes employees to fail, without doing things that rob them of basic dignity so they can continue to want to, further long-term career and basically take full advantage of like the benefits offered by said employers. So, um, Reefer Man Reviews Music says I need 10 to 15 minutes every 2.5 hours for poop related activities. Exactly. And so that's kind of what we want to talk about, is the fact that, some of these employees, even though they do have the suggested federal minimum wage of $15 an hour, they are essentially being exploited for their labor. They get 30 minutes tops, and there's a ticker and cameras kind of like moderating everything that they do. Oh, Ren will be right back, guys. Sorry, sometimes this happens around this time. But basically, they and the way that some of these facilities are set up, it's very difficult for them to be able to take full advantage of like food, water, and private, bodily function time. It's difficult to take full advantage of that and to essentially meet the quota set forth by Amazon. So, few things to note. There has been kind of some snarky conversation, if you would, dialogue on social media, more specifically Twitter, on basically behalf of Amazon, talking about how they are the Bernie Sanders of employers. They're the first to really kind of go nationwide with their like $15 an hour minimum wage efforts, and I think they're intro wage is $15.30. But I just want to point out the fact that Bernie Sanders was the person that basically ratioed Amazon and forced them essentially to bend the knee to negotiate on that wage. So it's really funny that they're essentially challenging Bernie to act when it was Bernie that forced them to act in the first place. So that is something to keep in mind. Also, these infractions of urination and like defecation in the workplace, before The Intercept, I believe, was the first to kind of come forward with an expose and interview Amazon employees about these particular workplace conditions. These were known infractions, and management had sorry guys, hang on one second. There we go. What's up, gang? So so management knew that these things were happening, and there were heavy coachings basically encouraged, but they knew that even though this was taking place, and that even though many employees had come forward and basically demanded some kind of reprieve or basically a regulation of the demand, as far as what is the word? As far as like the quota, their daily quotas that they have to meet as far as packages delivered, scanned, et cetera, along, the assembly line, there was no real, how do I say, like, Amazon wasn't really willing to negotiate the quota. They just heavily encouraged that people had to stop essentially getting caught using the bathroom in, the trucks, and, leaving evidence of said practice in the trucks. So so that is something to also keep in mind.
Mm.
And this was not even a new occurrence. Reports of defecation and urination in certain elements of the facility and the delivery process start as early as 2018. And they don't start in the United States, they actually start in the UK. Staffordshire was the first, I think,
Mm-hmm.
warehouse to come forward about reports like this, and they have since unionized and basically fought for the dignity of their workers so they could, bring this type of exploitation to a halt. So, long story short, Amazon currently has between 800 and 950,000 employees that are basically being exposed to the option of or I'm sorry, not exposed to the option, but basically they have eyes on the Bessemer plant as far
Mm.
as their efforts to unionize. The vote was March 29th. The ballots have been counted and the fight to unionize has ended. It will not be moving forward. Amazon has won and done so almost by triple the amount of votes. I think it was something upwards of 1100. It was like in the 1150 range versus the, I think, 450 to 480 employees that voted in favor of unionization. So that's basically kind of where we're at. And so I'm just going to ask you guys, is it normal for people to feel pressured to defecate in bags and to urinate in bottles? So you can drop your responses in the chat. Please feel free to leave comments on the
Mm.
stream if you like. Or you can DM us on Instagram. But still, like, is this a normal thing? Because, I mean, I have worked a lot of, like 14-hour shifts, like, in my lifetime,
Yeah.
and I have never been in a position where I could just relieve myself where I stood, which is like, I feel like that is so, like early
I
20th
almost
century,
want to
like
say
child work.
Shakespearean because they actually used to do that like in theaters. I mean, it's like they would stand there in theaters and they would just like, because there was nothing, it wasn't even stigmatized actually, but like there'd be nowhere to go. So as they were watching these hour-long plays, they would actually sit there and defecate in place, like while everyone was watching the play and stuff. But like sorry, and I apologize for getting cut off for the. I live in
Yeah,
a
no worries.
Victorian, like an ancient, I want to say ancient, it's a Victorian home, so everything's concrete, and it just, if my phone isn't in like a specific place, it just
Uh-huh.
gets, but no, it seems, just, I can't imagine. I mean, I used to think that it was ridiculous, as you were saying, like 14 to 16-hour shifts. And then sometimes, you hold it in because like you literally can't, go, but you're also not in a place to, like if you eventually have to go, you just go, and then you
Uh-huh.
do feel pressured, and then all of your coworkers hate you because God forbid you're going to go to the bathroom and spend like 5 or 10 to 15 minutes, however long it takes your body to function.
Yeah.
Which is like sometimes you can't even control that. As like Roof Man was saying, it takes them like 10 to 15 minutes or so. Like I'm one of those lucky people where I'm just like 1 minute and I'm good unless I'm sick. Then whoops.
Yeah. Unless you eat
Yeah,
gluten, and then it's completely
and then I'm
different.
just like, it's like I feel like everything then it just like leaves me, and I'm like, what? And then that's when I do come back. My coworkers are like, why were you gone for 10 minutes? Like, oh, okay. Um, but no, it's just I can't imagine. And the point of my Shakespearean comment is it is so like archaic. It's such an archaic concept of not being able to, again, basic human needs, sitting, whether it's the back of a van or even I'm not sure if you had covered this while my connection was off, but I was reading this one instance of like they are given breaks, but because it's a warehouse space, it takes like sometimes 5 or 10 minutes to actually walk to the bathroom,
Yeah.
and then 5 to 10 minutes to walk back. So there's one of the workers like timing it. Then what, you spend another, again, depending on how long your body takes to function, you're in the bathroom forever long. So your break just ends up you being in the bathroom. Um, like that was actually just quite shocking to hear about any of that, because I suppose I just haven't even thought about people having to do that at work, because I thought my situation in the service industry was ridiculous. But um, Amazon, that, I think they're paying, what is it, like $15, is it $15 minimum wage? And then
It's,
they break
yeah.
about all of their benefits.
Yeah, and
So
then they
they say,
get, like I think they get like a like very small like stock auction, but they do have like competitive, benefits and so
yeah,
on and so forth. And
yeah.
honestly, and I know, I guess when I mean, Amazon kind of, for as disgusting as a lot of their comments,
Mhm.
like on social media were,
Yeah.
they brought up like a very valid point, which I almost kind of feel like blew like their leverage in this situation. And then I was so grossed out by the fact that they literally defaulted to being like, "Oh, I think we got hacked. There's no way that we would
Oh my
make
gosh.
such like like tasteless
Could
comments
you?
like that." I'm like, "Okay, we're talking about a man that basically paid the city to have, I think, like certain traffic lights like manipulated, so it was more difficult for protesters to like gather outside of this particular campus, this warehouse campus." And the other kicker too is the fact that there already is like a huge how do I basically anti-union sentiment in Alabama right now, just because of like a lot of the corruption with the coal mine unions that are down there.
Mm,
There's a ton of, I don't want to say like propaganda, because in this particular circumstance it is absolutely justified. There was
yeah.
funds being misappropriated,
Mhm.
people died. It was just, so um, the basically the lack of faith in the hang on, what are they, what's in the National Labor Relations Board, and
Mm,
the sorry guys, I'm just looking at my show notes.
you're
Hold
good.
on. And the United Mine Workers of America. So basically, there was some concern there, because again, misappropriated funds, malpractice, people dying on the
Mm,
job, et cetera, et cetera. And the difference of what they were demanding was almost like a 30% step down, or I'm sorry, what the labor board and what the Mine Workers of America union was offering was almost 30% lower than the wage that was being offered. So, people are essentially like missing out on almost like $6 or $7 an hour. I think they were
yeah.
asking for 29, and the union was only offering 23 with benefits and limited options. So, and so there's already this like conversation about corruption taking place in union. So when the retail wholesale department store union basically approached Amazon workers about unionizing, there was already a ton of conversation against the concept already. So I'm not really surprised. And, again, like Jeff Bezos has more money than God. So it's
I
just
mean,
like,
it, that is, it's like, so, I mean, that's just gonna like send me on a different tangent if we're gonna talk about like Bezos, because again, like how and why does a human have that much money, and why, if they do find, like, personally, like I don't really know of much about like who he is as a human. I haven't really done that much research really into like his personality or anything, but it's, if you are at the point where you are the wealthiest man on earth, and like you've basically just beat capitalism, like how,
excuse me.
like, are you not going to take what you have and see that, like, sorry, now I'm just trying to put my thoughts together because I
You're
just get
fine.
so frustrated by it. It's like, are you not going to do something about it? Are you not going to fix it? Are you like, you have all this money and you don't even know what to do with it? Like, there's a point where, like, what are you going to buy? Like, why? Like, why do you have all that money? Like, what are you going to do with it? Like,
Well, that like is essentially like another conversation, like because that has less to do. Because I mean, and I'm probably gonna get ate up like for this, but like
no, like,
capitalism is in a way inherently exploitive, you know, in
mm,
concept. So basically it's a whole other conversation of, you know, we know that capitalism isn't really like benefiting like everyone across like the economic hierarchy, you
oh,
know.
of course not.
So
Yeah.
it's really more a question of just like where and how do we regulate such wealth accumulation,
Mm,
and that I think like that's like probably a whole other episode like in
it is.
itself, just because, you
Yeah.
know, I think Jeff Bezos is like he's he might be a trillionaire like at this point, at least by the end of the year.
And
That's where the
that's
projections are. So you
like,
know what do, you know, when you basically have the ability to
mm,
reconfigure legislation and zoning and what is considered a fundamental like labor or right, you know, because you have more money to basically control the decision making than any accumulation of people. Like I
yeah,
think he has more wealth than like certain countries on the planet. So it's just, you know, what do you do? But again, that's a
yeah.
conversation for another episode,
I
you know.
know
So
that. Then we
we
go on
won't get
tangents
into
and
the
stuff.
like the capitalism hate like quite so early. We're only on episode 2.
And
So
that's like, it's no, like, that's also a thing. Like, just like, yeah, I wish I could remember his name. I just see him on Twitter quite often responding to like CEOs that just have a shit ton of money, a shit ton of money. Um,
a
you probably
literal
know who
shit
I'm
ton.
talking about, but he like sacrificed 70% of his income. That's probably just a number that I am visualizing and it could be inaccurate. But he trickled that down to give to across his employees for his company. But he's constantly calling Bezos out and just CEOs and corporations out. Do you know who I'm talking about by chance, based off of like my minimalist
No,
detail
because
of
it could
it could be
literally be anybody. It could
it
be like
literally,
the woke
yeah.
bay himself, like
Mm.
Hassan Piker. It could be like a lot of
Oh,
people that
yeah.
but
Um,
chat, what do you think? Do you think, I know we've all kind of cut our teeth, you know, in service industry,
mm,
construction, like a lot of like physically demanding, you know, gig jobs. So where is the line for you? Like if you are not alone and at least like once a month are hearing about like worse like workplace accidents
mm,
like for people or these kind of like conditions, you know, for people to like meet a quota, would you make the choice to unionize knowing the risk of the corruption, or would you just kind of take the benefits as is? Because in this circumstance, like perfectly valid, you know, arguments on both sides,
mm,
especially with the type of exploitation that is or I'm sorry, not exploitation, the type of corruption that has already taken place with the Mine Workers of America Union
mm.
um, and I'm sorry, the name of the coal mine, I think, is it Warrior Met? That is who is basically walked up in a legal battle with the National Labor Relations Board and the United Mine Workers of
Mm,
America Labor Union. So, and don't worry, y'all, you don't have to take our word for it. We can essentially drop links in the
mm,
description. I really do try to include our show notes in the description as well. I kind of privatized the episode for just a day. I throw some stank
Mhm.
on it and then add some lovely music and some cool, transitions and stuff. And then I leave the episode up for a week. And then you guys get to enjoy it. You can save it, whatever, but you only get a week. And then it goes behind, the Patreon paywall. And then, you gotta wait for the next
But for good
episode.
reasons. For good
But for
reasons.
good reasons. For good
Yes.
reasons.
Yes.
For good reasons. Because again, like we mentioned at the very, very beginning, which was an hour and 5 minutes and 17 seconds ago, all proceeds this month for Patreon will be going to RAIN Foundation and to the suicide hotline for suicide prevention. So if you are feeling charitable, if you got your tax refund and you got like $5-10 that you can throw away, you're doing it for a good cause. We're not going to keep any of it. In fact, I'm feeling so incentivized that in whatever we reach at the end of the month, I will happily match. So feel generous because it's a very good cause.
That's actually a really good idea.
And I really just want to make sure that there is some visibility on sexual assault awareness and suicide prevention, because mental health is hard, and 2020 kind of kicked all of our asses. So let's support everybody together. So
all of this.
I would sing Michael Jackson, but
that's better than High School Musical. Sorry, 12-finger kid.
We are the world, but we're probably gonna get like DMCA'd like super hard.
Oh,
so yes, so essentially, you're probably like, okay, that really sucks. We know that Jeff Bezos is the devil, like whatever, like but how is he fixing the game, you ask? Well, I was happy to find some new updates on basically there has been a demand for a recount because of the shady tactics that were used by Amazon. For example, I'm going to say it again for the real ones out there. Retail Wholesale Department Store Union was trying to work with the post office to make sure that Amazon could not put because this particular vote was mail-in ballot. It qualified for mail-in ballot. Basically, they were like, no, we don't want Amazon to have a ballot box or a postal box put on the campus, because that, in our interpretation, is a means of threat. It's basically it's intimidating the employees. So the fact that Amazon was able to be like, oh, well, I mean, if that's how you feel about it, and they went above their head and basically renegotiated with the post office directly, methods not really disclosed. I wasn't able to get the specific details. I'm sure that they are available, and if they are, we will update them to the show notes document so you guys can see them there. But they went above the union's head and essentially were like, here's this money, put a ballot box on our campus. And they did. And they threw like a huge banner over the whole thing and were just like, come vote. And I know, like, first thought is like, isn't that showing active support? Well, let's think about the kind of place that Amazon is. They're, I think, monitoring what was like the weird update that they did for the vans, where it was just they basically put a monitor in there for, what was it, like stress levels or so they have enough money to monitor for where you are psychologically, like allegedly.
I think it's like maybe I'm thinking of something else, but they have an app on their phone that they use that actually, maybe I'm thinking something different, but they actually like track what the worker is doing and how much time is being
possibly that it's possibly that, and then there was something else that they tracked for productivity. So it's like, so they already have like certain things like in certain KPI metrics, that are being monitored without your knowledge, just as like a delivery driver. So
Yeah, like why are you going to the bathroom? Like why are you parked right here? Like what are you doing? Why?
Yes. And so essentially, if you think that they are not the type to be able, because I imagine that just like any major warehouse, with that amount of inventory, they're probably going to have badges and some kind of security measures to
Yeah.
be able to identify who's in the building, who's out, monitor shifts, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
So if you don't think that Amazon is smart enough to figure out who dropped their ballots off and then who got in at a specific time by basically just from outside camera footage correlating who went into this particular building and then who badged in for work, if you don't think that they're not going to be able to create a list
Oh, they,
of potential candidates to fire for taking advantage of their right to unionize,
well,
again.
they were sending texts out, Bashti, or they were like, again, I think it's the app because I believe it's, I'm trying to like align all of the information that I know, but I believe it could be in the app, but people or employees were receiving just constant reminders, do not unionize. Um, because like there were people would get fired if there was any discussion of
Mhm.
it, like they couldn't discuss it. um Actually, I do want to ask because maybe not just like for me, because I understand the basics of it. Actually, like this topic isn't something that I am like, I love to discuss these, but it's not a topic that I'm actually like incredibly educated in, but I'm also wondering for our viewers as well. Like, what is it that scares Amazon? Why is Amazon afraid of unions? Why is Amazon afraid of, and I'm sorry if I'm like just throwing this at you, just um
Okay, so again, guys, I'm not a civics
mhm,
expert. I'm not an expert in union rights, union organizing
mhm,
at all. I, nope, not an expert. But my opinion would be
mhm,
because if they succeed in Bessemer, they succeed nationwide.
mhm.
So, if I remember correctly, this isn't the first time in the United States that this has happened. I believe
No.
Bernie Wright, or Bernie, whoa, um, Bernie Sanders and
Yeah.
Killer Mike
Yeah.
of Run the Jewels, they, I believe, led a labor union organization effort in
From the
Atlanta,
jewels.
Georgia.
Wait.
Yeah. Um, he,
Shook.
yeah, dude. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, he's great. I love Killer Mike. He is
Oh
so
my God.
intense. So yeah, so and I think they won in Atlanta, and they're afraid that if workers continue to have success,
Mhm.
um, defining autonomy, you know what I'm saying? They will not be able to, for lack of a better word, exploit their labor, because remember in 2016, these particular, I think, warehouse positions were,
Yeah.
I think some of them, the hourly rate was 7.25
Oh my
an
God.
hour. So, and I mean, you want to talk about rapid expansion. Let's look at the correlation between how much they were, um, when they were paying, employees 7.25 an hour nationwide, and the ramp up of basically accumulation of
Mm.
different brand and inventory, and how aggressive they were expanding, different warehouse centers. And so, like, I would love to see the data on that. And if you guys want to see that, I can, again, I'll throw it in the doc. I can do research on that as well. So
Mhm.
but yeah, so that's why Bernie was such a pain in the ass in 2016, because he was like demanding, double. So it's like now that they finally have hit the threshold of 15 an hour, they feel like it's a good tactic for employees to not expect more, you know what I'm saying, and not ask
Yeah.
more. And it basically gives them bargaining power to, you know, kind of outperform the postal service and keep a competitive edge, you
Mm.
know, on shipping and basically getting product in people's homes. So it's just, if they, if employees start asking for more money and for more time off and, you know, for more autonomy as
Mm-hmm.
employees, they're not going to be able to outbid certain institutions, you know, because there was, I think, a very real possibility that like our packages were going to be ran like by Amazon almost exclusively, you know, in the previous legislation. So it's just,
Mm.
we can't have things like the Postal Service, which has been around for God knows how long. Like they were literally like delivering packages in like carriages on like Budweiser horses. You know, we can't let an
Yeah.
institution like that fail, you know, due to capitalist, you know, interest and greed. And
Mm-hmm.
that is essentially what they're doing, is if they're the first to basically adhere, basically I don't want to say adhere because that means stick to, but if
Yeah.
they're the first to meet and satiate this demand, you can, they look good and they're on the right side of history, and it makes
Mm-hmm.
employees less inclined to ask for more. But um, and by doing so, they're
Mm-hmm.
essentially continuing to dominate or control the narrative around their brand so they can actually, you know, cause the masses to question if this is actually even happening, if this exploitation is really even taking place. Because if this were true, they, like they said, you know,
Yeah.
on Twitter, you know, do you think we would have, you know, almost 1 million employees if people were actually having to piss in bottles? So
Yeah. That's the whole Twitter thing. Do you have those tweets on hand, or
they,
not no pressure at all?
I don't have them on hand, but
Hmm.
they are in all the hyperlinks. The Intercept did an incredible job. I do want to give a shout out to Ken Klippenstein as like a journalist. He really kind of was the first to get FaceTime with a lot of these employees that were, you
Yeah.
know, on the fence against and pro unionization, and really
Hmm.
to kind of just like break the news on a lot of the exploitative practices that were taking place at this warehouse in Bessemer. So he followed, I think what stimulated a lot of the conversation was the like outright like sidestep that Amazon tried to take, where they're like, you don't really
Mm.
think this is happening, do you? And then the like
Mm.
underlying like B plot where it's like they literally tried to leak, oh, I think we got hacked, and what it actually looks like is that, and this is purely speculation,
Yeah.
that Jeff Bezos basically made a directive that someone make a tweet to that effect, or
Hmm.
very allegedly that it could have been Jeff Bezos himself. But that is,
Um,
you know,
I mean, there was something also. There was. I should have looked more into it. There was something recent that he responded to that he was like, I wonder if it was because Biden is currently, working. Biden's currently trying to push the new the corporate tax plan, and Jeff Bezos, I think, responded to it. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Like as if like he's just like a good guy or something. No, I think he's almost trying to backtrack. I don't really know it. I don't know his personality. I haven't done that much research on him to psychologically like or try to like think about his psyche as to like if he would, um gosh. I think when I was looking at those tweets, I found it absolutely hilarious that I think one of the profile pictures was taken from like a band. Did you? Oh my gosh. You haven't seen that one. See, this is why. Okay. Um, I don't think I can pull it up. You know what? Let me just see if I can quickly pull it up.
I was gonna say you
Um,
can put it in the private chat and then I can
yeah.
pull it
Um,
that way.
so, um, fake profile. So basically, it was a profile picture of I wish I had it on hand. I don't want to spend too much time trying to dig into it, but it was one of the things, it was one of those tweets talking positive about Amazon, and the profile picture for it, that was that was my Minnesotan accent jumping in for it.
I can't wait for your British accent to like start leaking. Like,
It's, you know what, it leaked at first, but it's because I'm speaking with you that I'm able to like hear American accents and I'm able to like switch back to it. I think it's actually like more so when I'm speaking with English people, that it's like they actually the questions that I've had are you're either American or you're Irish. And I'm like, that's a huge difference. But like I'm curious as to why you think I'm Irish. Like that's a really, really strange one.
that
I
is
tried to look
weird.
it later on.
All
But
right.
it was so ridiculous because the profile picture literally you someone like reverse Google searched it. It's a band member of like a country band. I think that's what it is. It's just a dude's face. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
regular kind of like white dude's face like um it was so the fact that Amazon went back and was like, oh, this account was hacked. I think that was the account that was this account has been hacked.
Yeah, well, and I included the link in the
Yeah.
show notes, but basically that is not the case. It was not hacked. It was an
Mm-mm.
internalized. It was an internal message, like so. It was either a scheduled tweet that went out that,
I
in
found it.
yeah, like basically in concept, it was um, but so I'm gonna
I'm
read
sending it to
some
you.
of the while that comes through. I'm gonna highlight some comments here. Landon Dubes says, "Love the topic being discussed." Thanks,
Oh,
man. We appreciate it.
sorry.
Yeah. Let's see here. And then Captain Pennsylvania says, "Run the jewels." Killer Mike does a lot for people around here. He's a good guy. Love that. Love to hear it. So I guess I can give you guys kind of a heads up for what to expect in the coming weeks. We
Mhm.
are doing a Yasuke reaction stream with our friends over at Leftover Ramen. Our homie Ishida is gonna jump on the stream with us, and basically we're gonna binge watch the Yusuke anime series from Lakeith Stanfield. It's set to debut on Netflix April 25th. I am so excited about that.
I'm
Oh, we
such a weeb. I used to like, it was such a shameful thing to be when I was younger, and now I'm just like, hell of a weeb. Like, I'll take it.
we'll also be doing a couch co-op reaction stream to I think it's My House Husband on Netflix. I sent Ren the links, and I can always drop them in the chat. It's a new series that is a Netflix original that just debuted
Mhm.
like Friday, and essentially it is a hitman that has he's living a new identity as a house husband, and I can't
The
wait.
title of it, I haven't actually done much research, but the title of it is just like perfect.
Oh my goodness, it's me and Rhett, like it's our dream boyfriend. That's all we want is like
I'll say.
a lovely man that can cook with a troubled past. We're weak for that, and
Yeah.
so
Sorry. Here I am
Captain
just like, oh.
Pennsylvania says Yusuke Jackson. No, it's called Yusuke. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the concept of like Yusuke, but basically they were I think it was the 14th century. They were an African faction of samurai generals that were stationed in Japan to protect the emperor. So it's basically like from all the trailer and speculation, it's very like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon meets like Samurai Champloo meets Afro Samurai. So, very, very interesting topics, but I think they're really going to kind of embellish on the African lineage. I'm super excited to kind of see this because I mean this might just be exclusive to my growing up, but Africa and Japan kind of have like a rivalry for like fighting styles. So I am like very interested to see the different combat styles that are used, for the sequences in the show. So we're gonna talk about all of that. Kind of talk about some more like woke, like we're not gonna make it milk toasty and unenjoyable, but we at least are gonna talk about like some more like wrinkled brain topics, not that like smooth chicken liver brain stuff that we usually cover from time to time.
I do like, just speaking with like a completely like utter nonsense and like chaotic point of view. Like sometimes I like just speaking ridiculous shit. And that's what I'm like, woke ridiculous shit. Yeah, that's I'm pretty sure his last name is Jackson. He's a samurai. I Boshti?
Um, it might be. I haven't read any like super hard
I thought
details.
it was a joke.
No, it's really coming out. So, okay, everybody. All right, so I'm gonna break some hearts. I'm sorry. But prepare to have your hearts broken. So, this was actually a two-part deal. There was supposed to be an anime series that came out last year that Lakeith Stanfield did, and then there was a live action film. Hold on, let me.
Oh, Yasuke, Yasuke, yeah.
Um,
Here, let me send these
oh,
these
sorry. But yeah, so
these links.
there was a live action film that was supposed to come out, I think, in 2022, where the Yusuke lead was supposed to be played by Chadwick Boseman, but because of his untimely death, things had to kind of be pivoted, and I think the live action interpretation is going to be put on hold until they can find more appropriate casting, or they might not do it because, I mean, honestly, he's kind of perfect for the role, so I get why there's hesitation to move forward without him being a part of the project. So, but yes, it's coming out. April 25th was the date that they said. I'm very excited. So be on the lookout for that. We are going to be doing a my goodness, what was it? I think we were gonna do it for Easter, but the timing just didn't end up working out. So we'll be doing a sequel trilogy watch along. I think Rise of Skywalker.
I can't. I know.
I don't know. I can't confirm. Lauren, can you confirm? Have you not seen Rise of Skywalker yet? Is that?
Oh my God. No, I have. It's that I
Okay.
don't want to watch it again because I'm still like
Traumatized.
yes, like I just actually like I don't want to go into the whole Star Wars thing because I'm still traumatized by the Star Wars community. Like, no offense, Star Wars community, but like I'm just like, oh God, no, like I'm look forward to seeing it, but it's all the emotions and everything that I had felt for the last what, like 5 years? Like like So if anyone wants to just see me completely just like implode again, um, you're welcome to
We
just
do.
yeah.
We absolutely do want to
I
see
just
you implode.
it was just like my soul like
Um, so essentially, yes, we were gonna time it, because Christ rose on the third day, third trilogy installation of the Star Wars saga. You guys, you get it. You see where our brains were, but didn't
it's
work
just
out
so
that way.
fried.
So we will be probably doing that, and then I I am tempted to make it our Star Wars Day stream, but you guys let me know what you would like to see for Star Wars Day. We got really great reviews when we did a react to The Room meets was it Empire Strikes Back, the super
It
edit,
was
and it was
great. And then we got taken away. Like that's the thing. It's like I think back to last
it
like
was
May the 4th and
fantastic.
I'm like, it was lovely, it was great, everything was awesome. Everything is awesome.
It was very choice.
And then it just like completely just it was like, why was all of our shit taken off? We did
And
great, but
then
we're just gonna do better this year.
Yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
something fun. We also are possibly working on a 420 stream. It does fall like
Taco
on a
Tuesday. It's Taco
It does
Tuesday.
fall
Taco
on a
Tuesday 420.
Tuesday. I am trying to make some arrangements to make sure that we can partake. You guys, let me know. Would you prefer to watch Half Baked or would you prefer to watch Grandma's Boy? I personally cannot go without watching Grandma's Boy. I actually can quote almost the entire movie. It's disgusting. So you guys can, enjoy that lovely quote along. Or, we can get our Dave Chappelle on cuz he's back in the public favor, so we can also watch some Half Baked. So you let me know what you would
You
like
don't
to
want to watch The
see.
Room? Half. You
No,
don't
we
want
gotta we gotta
to.
we gotta play some smoking drinking games for the lovely 420 holiday, and people are working from home now, and
You know
I
what?
feel
I
like.
can host the drinking games. I'll push for those.
So yeah, you guys let me know what's good, and we'll make announcements. You know where to find us at Fueled by Pop on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Yeah. Follow
Anywhere
us
we're
on
social.
Instagram. We're very quiet right now. I'm still getting login information, and then I'll start posting absolute random ass shit. Pardon my language, but it's relevant for this podcast. So yeah,
So,
follow.
Captain America, or why did I say Captain America? Oh, Jesus. Captain Pennsylvania said he's seen Half Baked 892 times. Do you want to make it your 893rd time with us in about, oh, what is it? In 9 days? You let us know in the chat. So, anyway.
God, I can't believe it's mid-April already. That's absolutely ridiculous.
My God, like who turned the jets on for
Mhm.
2021? I am not here for it. Um,
2020 was so slow as well.
Oh my God, it was so brutal. Um, Next week's episode, we will be talking about tech monopoly. So, we're going to kind of talk about my experience
Mhm.
working with Facebook and kind of just expand a little bit more on workers' rights, how the concept of privacy is essentially evolving, and just talk about a lot of the documentaries that are kind of hitting like the streaming services about the basically the political radicalization that is an unintentional side effect of overexposure to social media. So tune in next week. We'll be covering those lovely topics. We might have a surprise guest. Yeah, just maybe potentially expect a third or not. It might just run a little bit longer than usual because I've got a lot to talk about on that subject. So I want you guys to be smart, capable, internet consumers. So I would really hate for basically social media platforms to get the better of you. So I'm going to teach you all about how they do so next week. So Callisto Arcus, thank you for joining. It's my first time seeing your name in the chat. Says that he would love to watch Half Baked with me. So let's do this thing. He says the last time that he watched a movie with me was Blade last fall. Oh my God, that was an incredible stream. Thank you so much for finding your way to my channel. We've got to do that again soon. Oh my goodness, Park Outdoors is here. Hello, how you doing? And let's take a look here. Second favorite person other than Scotty Summers. Well, hello. I mean, whatever, Captain Bikini. So, I mean, I thought we were some of your favorite people, but it's like it's fine. I guess we're lower on the rung. I can deal with that. So, that's basically what's coming up for April. May is going to be I don't want to say it's going to be a little unpredictable. It's just it's going to have a lot of new faces. In the month of May, Ren has got some things that in the meat space, in the more pertinent timeline that she has to take care of. And so
Yeah.
she is going to be settling into a new environment and all kinds of things. So she'll be kind of not as present in May, but we'll still see her lovely face, of course.
My host brother, sorry, I
Yeah, go
am
ahead.
actually quite excited about it. So for those who don't know me, I lived in Japan with a host family when I was, well, my whole Japan history is just quite long. But in high school, my first time being in Japan, I lived with a host family, and my host brother is moving to London for 2 years. Super weird timing, but I'm really excited about that. So it's like also the same time that we're moving into a different home. So I'm gonna be moving into a different home and taking care of my host. And also like I barely know London at this point, so I'm like, this is quarantine and this is lockdown. Which would you like?
Right.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I also am going to be going through some new adjustments as well in May. So we're going to still try to podcast every week, but again, our roster will just expand. We'll have some new faces. We might have some old faces. We don't discriminate against when you were born. We just, when you're available.
Oh, I
Unless you're
took it quite
younger than.
metaphorically. No, I took it quite metaphorically. I
Oh,
mean, I'm like okay with old faces too. Age doesn't matter. Age is just a number. I was like, what old faces do we have? I'm excited now, Boshti. Tell me.
so I would love to, but then nobody would have incentive to
I
return.
know.
So
Yes,
you just
please
have
do.
to be surprised. But be on the lookout. We're going to do a lot of more React streams. We'll probably throw some gaming streams in there. I finally got like my whole setup to where I can like actually like game and do like the fun things.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And so, yeah, and we're also going to be like working with some new friends. I can't say the name of who this new friend group is, but they're doing some big things. It's real cool. It's real Viking related. And we are working on an extra special, extra secret, low key react series that will also be a podcast, but it's going to be exclusive to a different platform. We're going to fuck around on stereo. So be looking forward to that. That will be starting in June, and we'll be doing basically episode reacts every week. Just joining the momentum of like all of our favorite, channels as they, discuss and talk about all the cool stuff that like Marvel is doing. And I'm so jealous. I like wish I had more people to talk about, Falcon Winter Soldier, things with, but
sorry. Sorry.
digress. No shade, no shade. Um,
I'm like, yeah. I mean, Marvel's just a whole other like.
it's a whole other beast, and I'm sure like I'll see you guys on Discord. We can talk about Marvel there, but in June we will be talking about the Loki series. We're very excited because it kind of talks about like all our favorite things like mysteries in history that remain unsolved, and Loki, like he's kind of hot
I'm
and
also
like.
like, I mean, that's one of the only like Marvel like stories or universe. I know it's a huge universe, but like mini universe that I enjoy because I'm a huge like Scandinavian mythology like nerd. So that one's just quite my just like, huh.
So, long story short, summer is going to be a lot of fun.
Mhm.
It'll be packed full of like things that you guys can engage in, and we can't make promises, but as things start to open back up and travel is a bit less restricted, maybe we can in the way future maybe start talking about different kind of meetup situations
Mhm.
at different cons and all kinds of fun stuff. But like you got to tune every week so we can kind of build that momentum. So check the ticker, join our Patreon if you want like super like unbridled but like very polished content as well. And then every weekend we will be probably sticking to this format. How do you feel about the public live streams, Ren? Are you loving the interaction?
I love it. I'm just, my only thing is like, well, obviously I love it. My only thing is like when things start opening up here, down here, east, west, whichever, like in this vicinity of London. um, when things start opening up, which is actually literally June, I think then, um, I'm not sure what my weekends are going to look like. I'm okay with like 1 hour. So in the future, if we just like, I'm okay with longer streams. I'm okay every week if it's just like sometimes if we keep it strictly to 1 hour as well too. So
We'll figure it out.
yeah.
And yeah, like my schedule is gonna become more flexible in the summer as well.
Mm.
And as we grow the community, it provides more opportunities for us to collaborate with new channels. So there's
Yeah.
not quite a pressure for me to always be here and like, hold it down and like take the lead. Lauren will
Mm.
sometimes kind of just like do her own thing, and bring other people on. I'll be here. Like it's whatever.
Mhm.
It's a community thing, baby. It's sexy. um, it's all about free love and free support. So yeah, so just stay tuned. We hope that you guys are enjoying the dialogue, enjoying the discourse, enjoying the research, enjoying the labor, enjoying the love, because we enjoy it, and we're going to continue to improve upon the experience. I know that you guys are definitely you know um, I don't want to say spoiled, but you're probably more used to more visually engaging things. So by May, I think we will probably transition to OBS. So it's going to offer a little more
Mm.
flexibility visually. And yeah,
I'm happy
it's
that you say OBS because I can actually do OBS. Like that's how I would do all of my gaming streams. So I'm
see.
happy to. It's my territory.
Perfect. So we're gonna get it all figured out for you guys, and continue to grow and do bigger and better things. But I think we have reached the
Starting
end
humbly.
where we are almost at the 1 minute 41 mark. So I am going to tie a big bow. All of my mentors have said, end while the hype is high, and I think we're peaking on attendance here, so I'm gonna cut it off now. If you guys want to catch the replay, it will be available through next Monday, and then it goes behind the Patreon wall. But again, we host live streams every weekend, so you can kind of pop in, add your commentary. It'll be really sexy, really fun. So as we always say, thank you for joining us. We are Who's Closing, and we'll see you guys in the future. So thank you so much. See you soon. It's been fun. Bye.
Bye.